special part of the story to bring you here with the situation still so fluid in Afghanistan and amidst conflicting reports of the fate of the National Resistance Front in Panjshir. Earlier, we spoke with the head of the foreign relations for the Resistance Front, Ali Nazari, who joined us from an undisclosed location and gave us some updates from his side of the story. Take a listen. Now we're joined by Ali Nazari, the head of foreign relations for the Afghan National Resistance Front. Thank you very much for joining us. We have obviously many questions about the state of affairs in the country now. We've seen conflicting reports emerge over recent days about the fate of the Panjshir Valley now, whether it's been conquered by the Taliban, the level of casualties inflicted on both sides. What is the latest? The Taliban now claiming they have, in fact, captured the valley. What can you tell us?
Thank you for having me on this show. The Taliban's propaganda machine has for years generated lies and false claims. Their claim today that they're fully in control of Panjshir is another lie and is another baseless claim that they've made. Valley. Entering the valley does not mean they control it. The Soviet Union tried to enter the valley. They entered the valley 9 times. In the 1980s, the Red Army entered the valley 9 times. Fortunately, they were defeated. So the Taliban entering the Panjshir Valley does not mean it's the end of our resistance. But our resistance is in a new phase. It's going to grow. It's going to expand. And we are going to resist and struggle until justice, freedom, democracy, and equal rights for all is established in Afghanistan, and we bring an end to terrorism and extremism in the country.
Now, you mentioned the resistance still planning to grow and get stronger here. Is there international support coming in for the resistance front?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. We are going to be using everything that we have, everything that our people have, to continue the struggle, even if we are ignored by the international community and abandoned by the international community. Unfortunately, we're fighting international terrorism without the help of the international community. The international community abandoned us. The people of Panjshir were massacred. However, we are going to continue our resistance, however long it takes, but we are going to achieve our goals.
And we're speaking of resistance and the ongoing fight here. There have also been some reports claiming that there's already some of the leaders in the resistance front open to talks with the Taliban, or maybe you are already engaged in talks. What do those issues stand? Are there talks underway? Are there back channel discussions already taking place, some negotiations with the Taliban?
So we are always in favor of peace. We have always been in favor of peace. But we will never accept extremism, dominance, aggression as doctrines for a future state. Afghanistan is a country made up of ethnic minorities. There's different ethnic sectarian groups in the country. No one constitutes a majority. However, what the Taliban want is a small group, a small political force coming and becoming dominant over everyone, over the whole country, taking the rights and freedom away from the others, and them monopolizing power only for themselves. This isn't something that we accept. We're going to fight against this. We're fighting for justice, equality, and freedom. And anything less than this is unacceptable to us.
All right, you mentioned international support, still not quite there. The demands appear to be essentially freedoms from the Taliban's view of the situation, or the rule that they intend to put in place. What do you know, or what can you tell us about the status across the country now? Obviously, Panjshir is still being disputed here on the ground, but since the Taliban takeover, what's happening around Afghanistan?
Well, they are oppressing everyone throughout the country. They've been oppressing people in Kabul, the other urban areas. They've been oppressing people in the rural areas. And in a year or so, the Taliban is a extremist, fanatic group of illiterate people who do not know how to govern a country, who will not be able to deliver services to the general population, who will not be able to provide security. In a year or so, we're going to see uprisings and resistance throughout the country. So this is not the end, and this isn't the beginning of a long-term fanatic radical regime in Afghanistan. The Taliban's time is limited, and the people of Afghanistan, the vast majority, are against them, and they will be acting, if not now, sometime very soon.
Now, the Taliban have certainly emerged into renewed international prominence here, but speaking with some moderation to their tone, at least internationally, at least their initial statements upon taking over much of the country here has been a bit conciliatory. Now they're trying to appear to somewhat more of as moderates than they were 20-some years ago here. But do you believe that's just a messaging campaign by the Taliban, or is there actually some different efforts on the ground right now, not out to be as authoritarian as they once were in the 90s?
That's just a ruse. That was just a ruse, and it is a ruse. Just look at their policies. It has been only 3 weeks that they've entered Kabul. They've banned music. Any group that bans music is part of human culture, human society, human civilization. And a moderate group does that? No, they don't. They've banned girls from attending university. Right now, they've basically marginalize all the women professors. The women are non-existent in the universities, non-existent in the Ministry of Higher Education. So we're seeing step by step, very slowly, they're returning to their former selves. The same fanatics, the same radicals, and they haven't changed. There is no neo-Taliban. There is no moderate Taliban. All of them are extremists, radicals. They're illiterate, and they have no mentality to compromise. And especially, 50% of Afghanistan society are women. They're completely ignoring 50% of Afghanistan society. And we're going to see more atrocities done to women in the months to come.
Now, if you can tell us somewhat more about the ongoing campaign in the Panjshir Valley here, what areas may or may not be under resistance control still? And on top of that, if you can confirm whether the international spokesman, Fahim Dashti, I believe was his name, has he been killed or is he still alive?
So unfortunately, we lost our colleague, two of our colleagues, Mr. Fahim Dashti, the spokesperson for NRF, and General Wudud Zara, who was the nephew of the late Commander Ahmad Shah Massoud, the national hero of Afghanistan, in the fighting last night. Right now, our forces are located in all the strategic positions of Panjshir. The Taliban only control the main road. However, Panjshir has dozens of side valleys. We control all the side valleys. We control the strategic positions. The Taliban are only in the provincial centers or the district centers. However, we control the population. We control, once again, the strategic positions and the side valleys, which the Taliban haven't been able to enter.
Ali Nazaria, the National Resistance Front of Afghanistan. Of course, thank you for your time and good luck in your efforts.
Thank you for having me.